Self-isolation, day 3, lockdown. Crazy times, right? Crazy times, people. I think it's fair to say people weren't really using their common sense. I think we can agree on that. So it's almost like the government have decided to remove that common sense option, right? We're removing it. We don't trust you to use your fucking brain to be smart to try and help us stop the spread of this virus. So we're enforcing laws, which means now you can only go out as an emergency, right? That's pretty much what they've said. Crazy. I'm not going to touch too much on this coronavirus shit because I find it all a bit depressing and I'm trying to just uplift myself. I, though, believe it or not, can go out, which is a bit crazy. I'm classed as a key worker. Like journalism is classed as key workers. I don't know, journalists are classed as key workers. I got a message from Sky and a few other broadcasters today saying you are a key worker, so you can leave your house to do, obviously, their work, not just fucking leave your house and go for walks and be stopped and say I'm a key worker and show your ID. But yeah, strange times. All right, I've always wanted to do this. Sorry, one sec. Era versus era. Let's have a bit of fun. Everyone obviously likes to compare eras, right? So the first era we're going to compare is now, 2020 versus 2010. I'm going to do 2000, we're going to go 1990, and then we're going to go 1980. I'm not going to go any further back than that because I'll be lying to you. I don't know much about... Sure, I know who the champions were, but I just don't know the fights in the 70s and the 60s. I'm not going to pretend I do, right? I'm not that type of guy. I really aren't. But what I do know is 2020 and 2010, right? We all should know it. So I want everyone to kind of get involved in this one. So we are literally picking the best fighters in their weight categories in 2020. So not necessarily the guys that hold the most belts, but the best fighters in 2020 versus their counterparts in 2010. Very interesting. Before we even start, who do you think wins? Like, think of it quickly. Don't think, just like, quick, who do you think wins? Straight away, I can't lie to you. As soon as I was doing it, I was thinking 2010 destroys 2020. Maybe not. All right, let's go straight away. We're not doing every weight class because I'm just not fucking about to go all down to superfly and fly and minimum and straw. So I think we'll stop at 135 pounds, might go to 130. As you can see, I've really prepared for this, writing this on the back of a fucking piece of A4 paper. All right, so heavyweight. So I think we can all agree that Tyson Fury is the man in the heavyweight division, the WBC champion, the lineal champion, beat Deontay Wilder. I think we can agree is the man. Although AJ has the belt, so I think we can agree that Tyson Fury is the man. The man back in 2010, well, there were two. They were brothers, Vitaly and Vlad. Vlad had most of the belts, but everyone knew Vitaly was the man, right? I think we can all agree on that. Vitaly was the man. Tyson Fury versus Vitaly Klitschko. Who wins? I love this kind of games. Oh, I fucking love it. Let me tell you this. Vitaly ain't no Vlad or Deontay Wilder, sorry. He ain't that, right? He ain't backing down from a fight. He isn't getting mesmerized at the press conferences. You're just not getting into that guy's head. He's not that guy. And let's also not forget, before Deontay Wilder broke his record as the hardest punching heavyweight, he had the best knockout ratio of any other heavyweight in history. That was Vitaly Klitschko. Who wins that fight? He is a bit flat-footed, is Vitaly, right? Has a very basic 1-2. Great jab, though, great jab, but it's very basic and robotic in his punches. But can punch like a mule. And there is going to be a time where Tyson Fury has to engage. If Tyson Fury engages with Vitaly, he's in trouble. Although, I will say this, though. 2010 Vitaly isn't the same Vitaly that fought Lennox Lewis. He's not, right? He had a few injuries, wasn't as active. And in and around that time, who was he fighting? The likes of Shannon Briggs, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, he fucking rearranged Shannon Briggs' face, but this is such a tough fight. I'm going to go for 2020 Tyson Fury over 2010 Vitaly. I'm not saying Fury's better than Vitaly. So if we're, for example, talking about 2006 Vitaly, I would go Vitaly. But 2020 Fury, I think, would beat 2010 Vitaly. So that's 1 for this era. All right, cruiserweight. Now, there's a few guys that have the belts at cruiserweight. One's vacant. Who else has belts at cruiserweight? Dorticus has belts. Bradis has belts. I'm going to go Bradis, right? I think Dorticus will actually beat Bradis in this World Boxing Super Series final. But nonetheless, Bradis has only lost once, and that was to Usyk by majority decision. Some people thought he won that fight, by the way. And look how much we highly rate Usyk, right? So that's how good Bradis is. Back then, in 2010, the belts were scattered. Again, so many people had belts, right? But the man, I think, my memory serves me right, was Marco Huck. Marco Huck was the man in the division around that time. It was only, 24, 25. So we're talking a 24, 25-year-old Marco Huck versus, how's Bradis? I'm going to guess and say Bradis is about 34 now. So definitely slowing down. This is the Marco Huck that beat Afalabi. This is the Marco Huck that I think a year later or 18 months later went up to challenge Povetkin, right? And I think he only lost by majority decision. So I'm going Marco Huck. That's 1-1. All right, light heavyweight. Again, belts scattered. Chad Dawson had a belt. I think, did Jean Pascal have one? Maybe not. Bernard Hopkins certainly had one. So I'm going to go with B-Hop, right? I think B-Hop was considered the man in and around that division. B-Hop was fighting the likes of Jean Pascal, had fight with Chad Dawson. Remember that weird ending with that fight? To beat Tavares Cloud in and around that period. So I'm going to go Bernard Hopkins against Bertabiev. This is unfair on Hopkins, right? If this was Hopkins that had just turned over, the one that went up and fought Antonio Tarver, then I would go Hopkins every day of the week. But it's not. This is Hopkins against Bertabiev now. Yeah, this doesn't end well for Hopkins. I think this would almost be like Hopkins versus Kovalev. Although Hopkins stylistically could cause Bertabiev problems, I think Hopkins is smart, he's brain, the way it moves, the way he boxes. I think Bertabiev eventually will just walk him down. I don't think he would stop him, but I think he would win on points. I think he would. So I'm going to go Bertabiev. I don't even know where we are. What's the score then? So we're going 2-1 to 2020 so far. All right, super middle. This is easy. It's going to be 2-2. Man back then, Andre Ward. Andre was the man back then against Callum Smith, who's the ring recognized #1 at super middle. That doesn't even, does it need a discussion? Am I being rude? Doesn't need a discussion. 2-2. Middleweight is fucking a great fight, people. Great fight. Pardon me for the excitement. Middleweight king now, I think we could all agree, is Canelo, although he's jumped up to 168. He is. It's not GGG. As much as I want to give it to GGG, it isn't. Middleweight king back then, Sergio Martinez. What a fucking fight. What a fight. What a fight. That is the Sergio Martinez that beat Kenny Pavlik and then iced Paul Williams. Literally face planted Paul. Remember, one of the best knockouts I've ever seen. Who wins that fight? Martinez not only can box, he can punch and he can move. That's one thing about Martinez. That's why Miguel Cotto was able to beat him, because his legs were shot. Martinez can move. He's a mover as well. And we know he can punch and we know he can box. I don't think it was the best era of middleweights. Remember, you had that kind of era with Darren Barker. No disrespect to these guys. Martin Murray, Matthew Macklin, Felix Stone. It was solid, but I don't think any of those guys are going to go down in history, right? Canelo. This is the Canelo that's beat Golovkin. Not the first time. Not even the second time for me. But beat Golovkin. Beat Danny Jacobs. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we might have our first draw. I can't pick that one. I'm edging, in my head, I'm edging towards Martinez. But Canelo's one, mate, I don't know. So we're going to go draw. So what's that? So 1, 2, 3. So it's 2-2 with a draw so far. All right, 154, a couple of guys that we could pick from, but I'm going to go Charlo. I'm going to go Charlo as the man in the division. I know there are other guys that we could go for, but I'm going to go Charlo. Guess in 2010 who stepped up to fight at 154 pounds. A certain Manny Pacquiao who beat Margarito. Remember, he bashed up Margarito. That was his one and only fight at 154. That was, I think, his one and only fight in 2010. I could be wrong. But that is the guy that I'm choosing, 154 pounds. There were other guys there. Miguel Cotto stepped up after he lost to Pacquiao and fought Yuri Foreman. Do I really want to go there? Not really. So we're going to go Manny Pacquiao versus Charlo. Charlo clearly has a size advantage in this fight. But I don't know if he has a power advantage. I know that must sound crazy, right? But Manny Pacquiao back then, putting people to sleep. And he fucked up Margarito. Look, Margarito doesn't have any type of movement that Charlo has, right? We clearly know that. But he's probably, I could be wrong, but he's probably as big, no? He's a big guy, Margarito. Manny Pacquiao's hand speed is going to cause anyone problems. Will Charlo catch up to him and knock him out? Could Pacquiao knock out Charlo? I don't know. Really don't know about this one. Pac-Man back then was fucking ferocious. I'm not joking. I thought Pac-Man back then could go to 160. It sounds stupid, right? I mean, I actually thought he could fight someone that was 160 and he could weigh 150 pounds and fuck him up. That's how confident I was about Manny Pacquiao. I'm going Manny Pacquiao. I think Manny Pacquiao put the beating on him. Actually. Should we say another draw? Pac-Man draw? Pac-Man. All right, 147. Well, I mean, for me, personally, I would choose Terence Crawford, right? But I don't want people to start throwing bullets at me. Errol Spence has 2 belts. We know the IBF, WBC. So Errol Spence, I think, is most people's recognized number 1, I think. Just because Terence Crawford hasn't fought anyone, right? He hasn't. Number 1 back then was Floyd, right? Floyd only had 1 fight in 2010, though. That was against Shane Mosley. Remember that fight? Shane Mosley literally landed a punch that would kill anyone, right? Not knock them out, kill them. Floyd's legs buckled. He landed another one. Floyd's legs buckled again. I remember seeing Oscar De La Hoya ringside laughing like, we've got you. No, you haven't got me. Floyd went back. Normally, if someone gets hit with that kind of punch, you go back to the corner and the corner immediately just throws a sponge of water on you, maybe slaps you in the face, starts screaming at you. They were as calm in that corner as I've ever seen. Floyd, it's almost as though he was downloading information as to, all right, what I need to do next. And he just done it and won every single round after. Literally, it's not a performance that people speak about. Everyone speaks about Floyd's performance against Canelo, Floyd's performance against even Marquez, although Marquez came up in weight, as brilliant performances. That performance from Floyd back then, considering who he was in against and the way in which he overcome that punch, remarkable. Errol will cause Floyd problems. You know the thing about Errol for me, and this might sound harsh, Errol is not, I don't think Errol's an expert at anything. Like, I don't think Errol's a 9 or 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10 at anything. I think he's a 7 at everything. And that's not a bad thing, by the way. I think he's a 7 in power. I think he's a 7 in speed. I think he's a 7 in ring IQ. I think he's a 7 in adjustments. I think he's a 7 at everything, which is fantastic. Some people are a 10 and 1, right? I mean, like Paulie's a 1 in punch power. So there's no problem being a 7. Floyd has attributes that are a 10. Floyd's defense, 10. Floyd's counterpunching, 10. Floyd's adjustments, 10. Floyd's ring IQ, 10. Floyd beats Errol. Errol will cause him problems, right? Just because Errol's big and strong, Floyd beats him. 140, bring on this argument right now, people. Now, there are a couple of guys from both eras that I could have chosen for 140. Let me check my camera's still working, please. Sorry, peeps. Just want to make sure that this is still on. Okay, it is. All right. 140, from, I don't even know where we are in terms of scores. Fuck it anyway. All right, so 140, 2020, I'm going to go Josh Taylor. And the reason I'm going Josh Taylor is because in 2010, I'm picking Amir Khan. Now, I could have chosen Devon Alexander and I could have chosen Timothy Bradley. The smart money really would have been on Timothy Bradley because Timothy Bradley, in and around that era, actually beat Devon and became a double belt holder. But Amir Khan, I think, was the best in that division at that time. Amir Khan had beaten the likes of Kotelnik. Amir Khan had beaten, who else? Marcus Maidana, Paulie Malignaggi, beat Zab Judah. Although those were, I think, 2011 and 12. But I think Amir Khan was the best 140-pounder. Who wins? Josh Taylor, Amir Khan. Straight off the bat for me, without even hesitation, Amir Khan. Like, I get, people might say chinny, I get all that. But no, Amir Khan beats Josh Taylor. Like, don't sleep. Are we sleeping on Amir Khan just because of the latter years? Like, the latter years. Amir Khan, back then, at 140, was a monster. He was so fast, like so fast, accurate, had a great gas tank, quite powerful as well, was able to dig deep. That Marcus Maidana performance, I mean, that Marcus Maidana wasn't a joke, you know. Amir Khan put him down with a beautiful body shot and then had to go through hell and went through hell. I just think, I think people are sleeping on him. If they think Josh Taylor beats Amir Khan. I like the matchup. I think Josh Taylor is skillful, will dig deep as well, right? But I think Amir Khan's pace and hand speed would just obliterate him. I don't think he would see the shots coming. I think it would just be too much. Too much. And I think Amir Khan could stop him, if I'm honest with you. I think Amir Khan will get rid of him. Just my own personal opinion. 135, I don't even know where we are with scores, people. 135, and we'll do this as the last one because... still this is the last one. 2020, obviously we're going a certain Vasyl Lomachenko. Now everyone might just think, Vasyl's won regardless. Has he? 2010, a certain Juan Manuel Marquez. Fucking hell, I love boxing. Juan Manuel Marquez. That's a great fight. You know who else I could have picked? I'm wondering if he was from that era. Robert Guerrero. But we'll go Marquez. Marquez, in and around that time, Floyd had basically dragged him up from 135 to 147 and beat him up, pretty much, yeah? But at 135, this guy was a bit of a different beast. Honestly, different beast. The way in which he makes adjustments in fights. You know, I'm so fixated with that just because I think that's what separates the very good from the very elite. All right, guys, and I have no idea how you could do it. I mean, you've got to applaud them. You're getting hit in the face, you're getting beat up, but you're still able to make adjustments. Marquez was the adjustment king for me. He would make adjustments all the time. I remember watching, I think 2010, he fought Michael Katsidis from Australia, very aggressive, very come-forward fighter, and Katsidis was having some success. But Katsidis kept on doing the same thing. And it's almost like, you know, you get those movies where like the Chinese master is slowing it down so you can see what's happening in slow motion and make the adjustments. That's kind of what Marquez is. But he's fighting Vasyl Lomachenko, who does nothing the same as far as I'm concerned. Nothing, right? It's unpredictability and genius at its best, right? How do you predict for what he's going to do next? You don't, because he does nothing the same. There is no sort of, this is Loma's move, right? He does this same 1-2 step. No, he doesn't. Does everything different, everything at full pace, everything with precision and power. Great fight, by the way. I would love to see these guys actually fight 2 weight classes below that. That would be a great fight. But at 135, I would go Loma, but it would be an absolutely phenomenal fight. So that's it. Very quick. Let's do it again. So Fury Vitali, I think I had Fury. Bradus Huck, I had Huck, so that's 1-1. Hopkins Bertabiev, I had Bertabiev, so that's 2-1 to 2020. Andre Ward, Callum Smith, I had Andre Ward, obviously. That's the easiest one, by the way, on the whole list. So that's 2-2. Canelo Martinez, I had a draw, so still 2-2. Charlo, Manny Pacquiao, I think I said Pac, didn't I? So it's 3-2 to 2010. Errol Spence, Floyd, I said Floyd, so that's 4-2 to 2010. Josh Taylor, Amir Khan, I said Amir Khan, so that's 5-2 to 2010. Loma versus Marquez, I said Loma, so that's 5-3. 5-3 in a draw. Should have gone lower. Should I go lower? Should I? No. Peace. Guys, sorry, it's me again. I'm back. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also, please like and share the videos. It really does help the channel a lot. And if you want to support the channel, I do have a Patreon account. The link is in the description. All right, I'm done. Peace.